I just told Sally that I'm too nervous to go on. And she rejected that. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I counted Hank Bahnson as a true and loyal friend for just over a full half century, beginning not long after I arrived as a surgical intern at the old Johns Hopkins Hospital in Baltimore in June 1952. The last time I talked to him was a few days before Christmas at the 2002 holiday party of the Transplantation Institute. None of us realized it, but this would be Hank's farewell, and perhaps he knew. Seated near the entrance of the Grand Hall at St. Nicholas Church, where he could survey the nearly 1,000 occupants, he patiently greeted a stream of old friends and well-wishers. Each seemed to have some special reminiscence that they wanted to revisit. Only a few days later, he was silenced forever. My own memories of Hank are too numerous and complex to sort through, but they always seem to conjure up a few key words. One of those words was taciturn. I never knew anyone who more skillfully avoided nonsense conversations. He was put off by common gossip, backbiting, or personal denigration. When he heard such conversations, he turned away, not because he was aloof, but because he simply detested such behavior. Hank was fiercely competitive in all the right ways. If he won, he was gracious and compassionate. If he lost, which was not often, he was respectful but never servile. And if the outcome remained in doubt, he never gave up. Win or lose, I never saw Hank Bahnson cheat about anything, alter the truth, or make excuses. He lived by stern personal rules of behavior from which there was no deviation. He's taught these rules by example to his students, residents, and to anyone who worked with him. What he taught was integrity. Whatever he touched, he made better. Such qualities uniquely qualified Hank Bahnson for his life in the harsh world of surgery, if only because it gave his patients the best chance for survival. Two other attributes, modesty and generosity, also brought these rewards to those who labored at his side. He freely shared with others credit for the innovative ideas and incredible surgical feats that flowed from his creativity and physical skills. Already, when I was an intern in Baltimore, I thought that he was the best surgeon I had ever seen. Until the day of his retirement, I never held a lesser opinion. Another word for Hank is strong. Some years ago, I met a mountain guide in the French Alps who had escorted a small group on the difficult 50-mile midwinter trek over a stretch called the Haute Route, High Route. He asked me if I had ever heard of an American named Hank Bahnson, whom he described as the strongest man he had ever seen. The strength that the guide referred to was not simply physical. It was Hank's emotional fiber that had been instrumental in making it through the Haute Route when one of the group became ill and faltered. Other words that I invariably have equated with Hank Bahnson are fair and just. When Shawnee Watsky and I came to Pennsylvania in 1980 with dreams of establishing the Pittsburgh multiple organ transplant program, many people here and elsewhere regarded our plans as fantasy, if not frankly criminal. The initiative would have died at birth without Hank Bahnson's just stewardship, protection, and active participation. Already more than 60 years old, he approached this new challenge with the wisdom of Solomon and the passion of a crusader, knowing that it would be his last great achievement. Transplant programs that exist today all over the world are monuments to his memory. During Hank Bahnson's 40 years on the faculty of our great and dramatically evolving university, the reputation and stature of the medical school rose from an indifferent position to the very high ground that it occupies today. No one person could do it alone. Other appointments made during the last half of the 20th century, and particularly those in the 1960s, were key to this ascension. But it is hard to believe that what has been accomplished would have been possible without the presence of Hank Bahnson. The city of Pittsburgh and its great university were blessed to have him as a citizen for all the last 40 years of his remarkable life. The less than a dozen words that I have highlighted in these remarks constitute a description or a descriptor of a genuinely noble person who will never be forgotten. Thank you very much.